Off the back of my last video, analysing how Ten Hag's Hexagon formation worked, I wanted to back that up by analysing how it functioned in a competitive match and Marco Silva's tactical approach to it. Starting with Silva's tactical approach, here we can see United are set up in their outer possession formation, but it was the positioning of these two players on the outside and just behind United's double pivot and Fulham's split centre-backs to be able to play passes into these corridors that caused United problems. And we can see that one pass into Smith Rowe beats 5 of the 6 players that make up the defensive formation. Again, United are set and the ball goes out to Diop to try and get through this corridor to Traore, and one pass beats the whole of United's midfield and forward defensive formation. Now this leads me into the execution of Ten Hag's tactics and what facilitated Fulham being able to get the ball into these pockets. Well, some of you mentioned this in the comments, and that is United's backline is too deep. If United's back four was 6-7 yards further forward, that space would be squeezed and those passes would not be on. But on the positive side, its effectiveness also came through. Here, we can see that Diop is looking for this pass and Mainu cuts it out. When executed properly, it is really difficult to play through United centrally. This picture shows why this defensive formation is so effective against City. When United drop back into a low defensive block, that naturally brings the back four closer to the hexagon, squeezing the space between the lines. The problems occurred against Fulham when we were higher up the pitch. In the comments of my last video, there was conversation about whether this was a good setter or a bad setter, and my opinion was, it's a good setter that will become a bad setter once Fernandes is back in the side, and our latest member of the 300 grand plus a week club didn't disappoint. Once the ball goes out wide, his job is to drop back in on the inside pass options as Mount has done, and Ahmad presses the fullback to create United's sideline press. But Fernandes runs past Bassi, which stands Ahmad up, leaving Bassi free. Robinson goes past Fernandes like he isn't there and pops the ball off. United still had decent pressure on the ball through their mid-press, but Fulham are able to use Bassi to recycle the ball out of United's pressure. Now Mount goes to press Bassi, which leaves Lukic free. And with the ball back with Leno, Lukic is still in space and Fulham have this ball in and then out, and United have lost the pressure on the ball because of the domino effect Fernandes' indiscipline created. In my analysis of the hexagon, I highlighted how United weren't shooting up from long distances to press, leaving huge spaces in behind. Against Fulham, Fernandes shoots up, breaking the formation, and now Mount is overloaded. United were lucky that Diop goes back to the keeper, but Brighton on Saturday will go sideways, then forward to get into the space Fernandes opened up. But this is a cherry on top of the cake. Instead of sitting to keep solid, Fernandes gambles that Bassi will go back to the keeper, leaving Lukic in acres of space, and 2 passes later, gets him on the ball. Now when you see United getting overrun in midfield against a much better possession side, instead of blaming Casemiro, Mainu or whoever, look at what happened 3, 4, 5 seconds earlier. Now if anyone decides to shoot up and break the defensive formation, this is how you do it. Pace, aggression, and Mount stops the ball going forward. The Devil's verdict is, I like the defensive formation and it is needy there. If Fernandes plays with discipline and the backline steps up 6-7 yards, teams won't find the pockets of space that were there last season and against Fulham. Although Fulham didn't really create a clear-cut chance, they got into a number of good positions where better attacking teams will create big chances from. But overall, the performance was much better than the opener against Wolves last season, and we won a game that we lost last season. Let me know what you thought of the game. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.